My battery died, part 2, but I'm going to start over real quick with my four-step theory strategy for long life is the following. Include more pure salt into your daily intake. That means it can be salt water in the morning when you're rinsing your teeth out, you swallow it. You want to keep the salinity level at what is close to the oceans, from what I understand is about 7%. That's the ideal pH level that they tell us we should be at, which in essence means the ionization in your body, and it's a continuum. And supposedly in 7, the perfect number, is where the salinity of water in the ocean is, and what ideally we should be, from what I understand. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. And as the number increases, that increases the alkalization, which is the metallization, making us more base, more relaxed, right? More numb, right? More conducive to electricity, more conducive to 5G towers and electromagnetic frequencies, along with those Stanley cups, along with those injections that we take, along with a lot of the stuff we put on our makeup, on our face. That my daughter, who is 11, just told me that her friends, she said even 8-year-olds are talking about all the makeup they need, and she said to me, "Mommy, and they all have beautiful skin and they all think that they need this." And I said, "You know what, honey? That's from the children watching videos, and then they seep into those videos commercials that are targeted to children of this age to get them to want to put on this makeup." Or, because again, there are variables, it could be that their mom is really into makeup and their mom loves it and they want to be like their mom. Or it could be that they watch a certain singer or singers or actresses or beautiful women or perceived beautiful women, and they are thinking that that is, and they're pushing this makeup. Okay, so in any case, levels, and those are what they want us to consume so that they can kill us slowly and faster, but faster if we didn't have them. And that's when you go to the hospital and you get all those tests and stuff, they're putting electromagnetic frequencies on your body, and that's not good. So anyway, I believe, and from my studying of Dr. John D. and much, much more, that we can battle this by consuming more pure, unprocessed salt. It doesn't have to be expensive. So I've been going to the ocean, I'm collecting salt water, I'm cooking with it, I'm sipping it, I have it here in my car, it's like my coffee in the morning, I just sip a little bit. Anyway, okay, so that's number 1. It's one of them. Number 2 is grounding. We've been over this, look it up, grounding, earthing. If you don't know, it can cure rheumatoid arthritis, and that's based on the fact that the earth is charged. I'm reading Nikola Tesla, we know that. And I've learned about the transmitter, the energy transmitter, the wireless transmitter, magnifying transmitter, and magnifying transformer, I believe. But in any case, that comes from what I'm understanding, and a fantastic video that I've now watched 3 times from Zach from Good Times for All, regarding the ability to pull energy from the earth. And now I've been looking differently at our towers and these big, gigantic, massive concrete ones that have just come up in the last 3 years. Anyway, okay, so that's number 2 is grounding. You want to get the good natural energy. Like right now I'm sitting here barefoot in the parking lot of the dance studio, and I'm getting my sun into my retina without glasses or contact lenses on, which is the 3rd step, sun gazing, at least getting sun. And don't talk about vitamin D unless you can tell me exactly how vitamin D is extracted from a sun ray. And how do they get vitamin D? From cows. And what is calcium? I'll tell you what calcium is, or what CAL means. Calcinthum is vitriol. Calcinatum magus is called all that which is made sweet by the spagyric art. Those are in capital letters. Which of its own nature was not so as the sweetness of mercury, of lead, of salt, or the like, which also is called their soul, and doth quickly consolidate any wound. Okay, that's a lot. Don't know if I understand all of that, but that's That's how dense this book is. I'm gonna do a podcast on maybe the first 40 pages of my notes in it, and I have to keep rereading it. It's just really interesting. These are basically formulas. I cook every day for my children. I enjoy learning how things operate in nature. I like to see how the grape turns into a raisin, and then or we can turn it into wine, and then that turns into vinegar, which I use for cleaning in my house. So everything that God gave us that's pure, I believe, has many iterations that it can be used, and that so essentially, death isn't really an option, like, as long as you keep them fertile. And that's the evil of the genetic modification and the seedlessness of fruits, is basically taking the fertility away, which has to do with analemmas, the number 8, infinity, fertility, the oval, the ellipse, maybe not eclipse, that is an oval that's going around, and maybe the closest that most of us perceive as a flat earth model, like, which is on the wonderful application of Dave Weiss. Maybe the moons, I don't know. I haven't looked at it in a long time. I just think we need to start looking more at the shape oval, because it has to do with ovaries, and that has to do with the parallel to Mercury or Quicksilver, which is what is explained here several times as sort of the receiver of the penetration. So the sun and the moon, the sun being the gold, the moon being the silver, the sun being the male, the moon being the female. So you have all this energy, and it has to be planted somewhere that's going to be a good receiver, right? So I think that they've taken that concept into the periodic table of elements and this alchemic concept, blah, 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 and moved our minds to thinking that it's good and bad. And what it really is, going back to my original point, is compatibility and complementary, not competition and not polarity. But that's the essence of what they do on pretty much everything. So that's one aspect that I wanted to talk about today. And okay, so eat pure salt, get more pure salt into your daily intake. Grounding, this is 10 minutes. Grounding, sun gazing, start with 2 seconds. See if you can get up to 8 minutes. Start observing how light moves. Start observing what you see in the prisms that I'm looking at right now that are reflected because of my eyelashes, as opposed to a filter from a camera, or a filter that they gave people during the eclipse, which made I don't know. Anyway, we should be able to see these things. How did people do it in the past? I think they did it with their observational powers, and maybe we can strengthen our eyes by looking at the sun. And the fourth most difficult but most rewarding is not lying, deciding not to lie. Do not lie anymore in your life, just like the animals, and your life will be better. No, you can't minimize things, you can't exaggerate. We need to be in line with God, and that's how the animals survive, even with all the poisons that are in the grass that they're eating, because that's arsenic from the pesticides and fertilizers, which ends up being a metal. We have these chemtrails that it looks like these are metals as well. We are injected with metals. We are putting makeup on our face with metals. We are doing sunscreen with metals. Please tell me I'm wrong. I'll be so thrilled. But here's the good news. I believe those 4 steps can enhance longevity. And I wanted to share that today, that I think that polarity has been designed to keep us limited in our conception of variabilities to situations that can be resolved if we use our experience in mind. I gotta go, other parents are pulling up.